Sesko picks Man United as Romano reveals why top stars are scared to join Newcastle. Welcome back to United News, the platform that has become your most trusted and reliable source for all things Manchester United. When the transfer world gets crazy and rumors start flying everywhere, you know exactly where to come for the real story. We've built our reputation on bringing you accurate information, exclusive insights, and the kind of expert analysis that helps you understand what's really happening behind the scenes at Old Trafford. Today, we're bringing you one of the biggest transfer stories of the summer, a story that shows why Manchester United remains one of the most attractive destinations for top players around the world. It's a tale of smart recruitment, player preferences, and why some clubs struggle to compete with the pulling power of the Red Devils. What if we told you that Benjamin Sesko has made his final decision about his future? And it's exactly what every United fan has been hoping to hear. What if we revealed that Manchester United have won a crucial transfer battle against one of their biggest rivals? And most importantly, what if the reasons behind this victory tell us everything about why United remains a special destination for world-class talent? Get ready for the complete inside story of how United beat Newcastle to Benjamin Sesko, why top players are reportedly scared to join the Magpies, and what this means for the future of both clubs. The decision that changes everything. Benjamin Sesko has made his choice, and Manchester United fans have every reason to celebrate. According to multiple reliable sources, including the Manchester Evening News, the Slovenian striker has picked Old Trafford as his preferred destination and made his final decision to join the Red Devils. This isn't just another transfer rumor or media speculation. We're talking about concrete reports from trusted journalists who have built their reputations on accurate transfer reporting. When sources like these start confirming that a player has made his final decision, you can be confident that something real is happening behind the scenes. The significance of this decision cannot be overstated. Sesko was one of the most sought-after strikers in European football this summer, with Newcastle United making a strong push to secure his services. The fact that he's chosen Manchester United over other options shows the continued pulling power of the Old Trafford club. But what makes this story even more interesting is the context surrounding Newcastle's failed pursuit and what it reveals about the challenges some clubs face when trying to attract top talent. This isn't just about United winning a transfer battle. It's about understanding why certain clubs remain more attractive than others in the modern transfer market. United's secret mission to Germany. The story of how Manchester United secured Benjamin Sesko's preference is one of smart planning, personal relationships, and decisive action. According to transfer expert Ben Jacobs, United sent a secret delegation to Germany to hold formal talks with the striker and his representatives. Leading this mission was Christopher Vivel, United's director of recruitment, whose previous experience at RB Leipzig gave him unique insight into Sesko's character and abilities. This wasn't just a random scouting trip, it was a carefully planned operation designed to show Sesko exactly why Manchester United should be his next destination. The involvement of Vivel is particularly significant because he worked closely with Sesko during his time at Leipzig. He understands what motivates the player, knows his strengths and weaknesses, and can speak from personal experience about his potential. When you're trying to convince a player to join your club, having someone who knows him personally is an enormous advantage. This personal touch is exactly what modern football recruitment is all about. It's not enough to just make an offer and hope for the best. You need to build relationships, understand what players want from their careers, and demonstrate why your club is the right fit for their ambitions. The Alexander Isak factor. How Newcastle's problems helped United. Sometimes in football, one club's problems become another club's opportunities. Newcastle United's struggles to keep Alexander Isak happy have inadvertently helped Manchester United in their pursuit of Benjamin Sesko. According to David Ornstein from The Athletic, Alexander Isak's desire to leave St James Park has accelerated Manchester United's actions to get a deal done for Sesko. The Swedish striker has even returned to training with his former club Real Sociedad, sending a clear message about his intentions to leave Newcastle. Think about this from Sesko's perspective. He's watching a top striker at Newcastle desperately trying to leave the club. He's seeing how difficult it is for players to move on from St James Park when bigger clubs come calling. Is this really the environment he wants to join, especially when Manchester United are offering an alternative? The timing of Isaac's discontent couldn't be worse for Newcastle's pursuit of Sesko. Just when they need to present themselves as an attractive destination for top talent, they're dealing with a very public dispute with their best player. It's the kind of situation that makes other players think twice about joining. For Manchester United, this represents an unexpected bonus in their recruitment strategy. They can point to their history of allowing players to move on when the right opportunities arise, contrasting this with Newcastle's apparent reluctance to let their stars leave. Fabrizio Romano's damning assessment of Newcastle. When Fabrizio Romano speaks about transfers, the football world listens. The Italian journalist has built his reputation on accurate reporting and insider knowledge, so when he makes strong claims about why players are avoiding certain clubs, it carries significant weight. Romano's assessment of Newcastle's situation is particularly damning. Speaking on the Men in Blazers podcast, he revealed why top stars are reportedly scared to join the Magpies, and his explanation makes uncomfortable reading for Newcastle fans. I think there is a crucial point here. We always see Newcastle signing many players, bringing top players to the club, but it's difficult to see Newcastle selling players, Romano explained. This is a devastating critique of Newcastle's transfer policy. Romano is essentially saying that while the club is good at attracting players with big contracts and ambitious promises, they struggle to let those same players leave when better opportunities arise elsewhere. From a player's perspective, this creates a genuine concern. Nobody wants to feel trapped at a club, especially if their career ambitions outgrow what that club can offer. The fear of being blocked from moving to a bigger club is exactly the kind of thing that would make top players think twice about joining Newcastle in the first place. The trap that scares top players. Romano's comments about players being scared off from Newcastle reveal a fundamental problem that goes beyond just the Sesko transfer. If top players genuinely believe they might be trapped at St. James Park, it becomes much harder for the club to attract the quality they need to compete at the highest level. This creates a vicious cycle. The club struggles to sign their top targets because players are worried about being unable to leave. Without those top signings, the club finds it harder to achieve their ambitions. And if they can't achieve those ambitions, their best players become even more desperate to leave. The Isaac situation perfectly illustrates this problem. Here's a striker who has proven himself at the highest level, but he appears to be blocked from moving to a club that can offer Champions League football and realistic title ambitions. Other players looking at this situation would naturally wonder if they might face the same problems. Manchester United, by contrast, have a history of allowing players to move on when the right opportunities arise. While they might drive a hard bargain, they don't typically block transfers when players genuinely want to leave for career reasons. United's compelling offer and strategy. So what exactly are Manchester United offering Benjamin Sesko that has convinced him to choose Old Trafford over other options? The answer goes beyond just money and involves a comprehensive package designed to appeal to an ambitious young striker. According to reports, United are hoping to negotiate the price down to around 70 million euros, which would represent significant value for a player of Sesko's potential. At 22 years old, he has his best years ahead of him and could be United's first-choice striker for the next decade. But the financial package is just one part of the appeal. United can offer immediate first-team opportunities in one of the world's most competitive leagues. They can provide Champions League football and realistic ambitions of competing for major trophies. They can also offer the kind of global profile that helps players build their personal brands. Perhaps most importantly, United can offer a clear pathway for career development. Ruben Amorim has a proven track record of improving young players, and his tactical system appears perfectly suited to Sesko's strengths. The striker would be joining a project with genuine potential rather than a club struggling with internal problems. The Vivel connection, inside knowledge pays off. Christopher Vivel's role in securing Sesko's preference cannot be overstated. The director of recruitment's previous relationship with the striker at RB Leipzig has proven invaluable in convincing him that Manchester United is the right choice. This kind of personal connection is exactly what modern recruitment is about. It's not enough to just watch players on video or read scouting reports. You need people who understand the player as a person, who know what motivates them, and who can speak from experience about their character and potential. Vival can tell Sesko exactly how he would fit into United's system because he knows his strengths and weaknesses better than almost anyone. He can address any concerns the player might have because he's worked with him before. And he can provide the kind of personal recommendation that carries real weight in transfer negotiations. The fact that United were willing to send Vival to Germany for personal talks shows how seriously they're taking this signing. This wasn't just a routine negotiation. It was a targeted recruitment mission designed to show Sesko exactly why United should be his next club. Newcastle's expensive summer strategy falls short. While Manchester United were conducting secret missions and building personal relationships, Newcastle were taking a different approach to the transfer market. Their strategy appeared to focus on making expensive signings without necessarily considering the long-term implications. The signing of Anthony Elanga from Nottingham Forest for £55 million raised eyebrows across the football world. While Elanga is a talented player, the fee seemed excessive for someone who had struggled to establish himself as a regular starter at his previous club. This kind of spending creates its own problems. When you overpay for players, it raises expectations and puts pressure on those players to justify their price tags immediately. It also creates wage structure issues that can cause problems throughout the squad. More importantly for the Sesko situation, it suggests a club that might be making desperate decisions rather than calculated ones. Top players want to join clubs that make smart decisions and have clear long-term plans, not ones that appear to be throwing money around without strategic thinking. The Julmond bonus. United's double midfield move. While the Sesko story has dominated headlines, Manchester United are also making moves in midfield that show the breadth of their summer ambitions. The club has reportedly submitted a £35 million offer for Sporting CP captain Morten Julmond. The connection here is obvious. Julmond worked under Ruben Amorim at Sporting and would bring valuable experience to United's midfield. At 26 years old, he's entering his prime years and has already proven himself as a leader at one of Europe's top clubs. The fact that United are pursuing both Sesko and Julmond shows they're serious about giving Amorim the tools he needs to implement his tactical vision. These aren't random signings. They're players who fit specific roles in the manager's system and can contribute immediately. However, United face competition for Julmond's services, with Juventus also reportedly interested. The midfielder's release clause is set at €80 million, though Sporting are apparently willing to accept around €50 million for his services. The Amorim factor, why players want to work with him. One factor that shouldn't be underestimated in United's recent transfer successes is the appeal of working with Ruben Amorim. The Portuguese manager has quickly established himself as one of Europe's most promising coaches, and players are naturally attracted to the opportunity to work with him. Amorim's track record of developing young players is particularly relevant for someone like Sesko. The striker is still only 22 and has enormous potential for growth. Working with a manager who has a proven ability to improve players could be the difference between having a good career and having a great one. The tactical system Amorim uses also suits Sesko's strengths perfectly. The striker's combination of height, pace, and technical ability makes him ideal for the kind of versatile attacking role that Amorim's system demands. This isn't just about signing a good player, it's about signing the right player for the system. What this means for United's season. If Manchester United successfully complete the signing of Benjamin Sesko, it would represent a major statement of intent for the upcoming season. The striker would provide exactly the kind of consistent goal threat that the club has been missing for several years. Sesko's physical presence would give United a different tactical option in attack. His ability to hold up play and bring others into the game would create more opportunities for the team's creative players. His pace and movement would stretch defenses and create space for teammates. But perhaps most importantly, his arrival would solve United's long-standing striker problem once and for all. No more debates about whether the current options are good enough. No more tactical compromises because the striker doesn't quite fit the system. Just a proven goal scorer who can lead the line for years to come. The psychological impact on the squad would also be significant. Landing a player that other top clubs wanted shows that United remain an attractive destination for world-class talent. It demonstrates that the project under Amorim is gaining momentum and attracting the right kind of players. Newcastle's growing reputation problem. While United celebrate their transfer success, Newcastle are facing growing questions about their ability to attract and retain top talent. The combination of the Hijack situation and missing out on Sesko creates a narrative that could damage their recruitment efforts going forward. Romano's comments about players being scared to join Newcastle might seem harsh, but they reflect a genuine problem that the club needs to address. If top players believe they might be trapped at St. James Park, it becomes much harder to convince them to join in the first place. The club's ownership has invested heavily in trying to build a competitive team, but money alone isn't enough in modern football. Players want to feel that they can progress their careers and move on to bigger things when the right opportunities arise. Newcastle's apparent reluctance to facilitate these moves is becoming a significant obstacle. The financial fair play factor. One aspect of this transfer battle that deserves attention is how financial fair play regulations are affecting both clubs' strategies. Newcastle's heavy spending in recent windows has put them under scrutiny, potentially limiting their ability to compete for the most expensive targets. Manchester United, while also dealing with FFP considerations, appear to have more flexibility in their spending. Their ability to potentially spend €70 million on Sesko, while also pursuing other targets, suggests they've managed their finances more effectively. This financial flexibility gives United a significant advantage in transfer battles. While Newcastle might be willing to pay big money for players, they might not be able to sustain that level of spending across multiple positions. United's more balanced approach allows them to strengthen several areas of the squad simultaneously. The broader transfer market implications. The Sesko decision has implications that go far beyond just these two clubs. It sends a message to other players about which clubs are genuinely attractive destinations and which ones might be struggling despite their financial resources. For agents and players' representatives, this kind of situation provides valuable information about which clubs to recommend to their clients. If top players are genuinely concerned about being trapped at certain clubs, agents will naturally steer their clients toward alternatives. This could create a snowball effect where Newcastle find it increasingly difficult to attract their top targets, while clubs like Manchester United benefit from being seen as more player-friendly destinations. Looking ahead, what this means for both clubs. The success or failure of these transfer strategies will have long-term implications for both Manchester United and Newcastle United. For United, landing Sesko would represent vindication of their new approach to recruitment and provide the foundation for sustained success under Amorim. For Newcastle, missing out on Sesko while dealing with the Hijack situation could mark the beginning of a more difficult period. If they can't convince top players that St. James Park is an attractive destination, their ambitious project could stall before it really gets started. The contrast between the two clubs' situations is stark. United are building momentum under a new manager and successfully attracting their top targets. Newcastle are dealing with unhappy players and struggling to convince new signings to join them. The role of player power in modern football. This entire situation highlights the growing influence of player power in modern football. Players have more control over their destinies than ever before, and they're using that power to make informed decisions about their careers. Sesko's choice to wait for Manchester United rather than accepting Newcastle's offer shows how players are willing to be patient to get the move they really want. This kind of strategic thinking is becoming more common as players and their representatives become more sophisticated about career management. For clubs, this means that simply offering the most money is no longer enough to guarantee success in the transfer market. They need to create compelling projects, demonstrate their commitment to player development, and show that they won't stand in the way of players' career progression. The importance of timing in transfer markets. The timing of various developments in this story shows how quickly things can change in transfer markets. Hijack's discontent at Newcastle created an opportunity for United to accelerate their pursuit of Sesko. United's quick action in sending a delegation to Germany showed they were ready to capitalize on that opportunity. This kind of responsive strategy is exactly what successful clubs do in modern transfer markets. They monitor situations constantly, identify opportunities as they arise, and act decisively when the moment is right. Newcastle's slower response to changing circumstances may have cost them dearly. By the time they realized they had a problem with player retention, United had already positioned themselves as the more attractive alternative for Sesko. Conclusion. a transfer victory that says everything. As we reach the end of this comprehensive analysis, it's clear that Benjamin Sesko's decision to choose Manchester United over Newcastle represents much more than just another transfer success. It's a story that reveals the fundamental differences between clubs that consistently attract top talent and those that struggle despite having significant resources. United's victory in this transfer battle wasn't just about offering more money or making bigger promises. It was about creating a compelling vision for the player's future, building personal relationships through people like Christopher Vival, and demonstrating why Old Trafford remains one of football's most attractive destinations. The contrast with Newcastle's approach couldn't be more stark. While the Magpies have invested heavily in trying to build a competitive team, their apparent reluctance to allow players to leave when better opportunities arise has created exactly the kind of reputation problem that Romano highlighted in his damning assessment. For United fans, this represents vindication of the club's new approach under Ruben Amorim and the current ownership structure. The ability to identify the right targets, build personal relationships with players and their representatives, and ultimately convince top talent to choose Old Trafford shows that the club is moving in the right direction. Here at United News, we'll continue to follow this story closely as it develops toward its conclusion. We've built our reputation on bringing you the most accurate and insightful transfer coverage available, and we'll make sure you're the first to know when Sesko's move to United becomes official. The summer transfer window still has time to run, but this early success in landing one of Europe's most promising strikers sets the tone for what could be a transformative period for Manchester United. It shows that when the club gets its recruitment strategy right, it can still compete with anyone for the world's best talent. Stay tuned to United News for all the latest developments in this and every other story that matters to Manchester United fans. Because when it comes to transfer news, expert analysis, and insider insights, we don't just report the stories. We help you understand what they really mean for your club's future. The decision by Benjamin Sesko to choose Manchester United tells us everything we need to know about why some clubs succeed in the transfer market while others struggle. It's not just about money, it's about vision, relationships, and creating the kind of environment where top players want to build their careers.